Paolo, when you're on the space station, you know, if I'm here on the Earth, I look out, I see the community I'm in, I see what's around me. I have this sense of place, of where I'm at, what's going on in my life. When you're on the space station, what's your perception of place, uh, inside the space station in outer space?
Well, that's an interesting thing. You know, if you really think about it, you are in this artificial vessel that is just orbiting around the Earth and the vastness of empty space. And you may feel like you are in a ship in the middle of the ocean, and you feel like you're little thing, but around you there is nothing, and you may be there forever. But that doesn't work like that in space. I think you are inside the space station. It's a very well constructed, built environment. There's a sense of purpose because they're working all day long on certain things that are really important. And so you don't feel you are in the middle of nowhere. Actually, you feel you are in a place that is very important with a lot of things. And if when you have a little bit of time, you go to the cupola, which is our window over the world, and you can look down on this Earth right there. You don't see the emptiness around you, you see the Earth. Or you look at the other side and you see the stars, you see the Milky Way, you see completely different things. Far away, a lot of space between them, but you don't see the space. You see the Earth, or you see the stars, or you see the sun, you see the moon. And I think it gives you a really good perspective or sense of place where you are, which is not emptiness. It's a lot of physical things that you touch with your brain, with your minds, but also almost physically with your hands.
So, Paolo, when we first talked about the project, you said something that really kind of inspired me. You talked about the fact that, you know, right now we have to send scientists and engineers into space and medical professionals because it's critical we do this research partly so that we can understand what we need to know just to travel further out into space on long duration missions. But you also said, in reality, we should be sending philosophers and artists and writers into space. And I wonder if you could just talk about that a little bit and how your work as a scientist ties into the humanities and how this project reflects on that.
Well, you know, the space station it's a great human endeavor. We pull together resources from science, technology, and we build this International Space Station so we can carry out work that is useful for us here on Earth, and that eventually will allow us to continue our exploration of the universe, which is one thing that we absolutely need to do, or we will be doing. At the same time, this is interesting how this is today done by professional astronauts that come mostly from a scientific or technological background, which means we have very good operators. We can go up and do all sorts of good things. We can grab a camera and start snapping pictures. But I'm thinking while I'm up there, my pictures are good, but what would happen if there would be here a photographer like you that for 6 months will concentrate on taking pictures? I can only imagine what will come out of there. So how do you reconcile this thing of preserving something that seems fairly new?
Well, that's a good question. The issue with a lot of the technological facilities that relate to space is that they weren't built to last forever. They were built to be used for a short period of time and then be gone. They were built with materials that in the environment, say like the launch pads on Cape Canaveral. It's right next to the ocean. Those rust away. They tear them down. I was just at the Cape, and they've torn down a number more of the old launch facilities because that's a very precious real estate for launching rockets. So they have to reuse it and recycle it. So unlike a building built in the 1800s that's made out of brick and built to last forever, these facilities were never really designed for that. And the space station is a perfect example. It's even at greater risk because there's no way it can be sustained in orbit forever, and even if it could, you can't get there. When it's abandoned, you won't be able to go up and photograph the inside of it. So I see this as what I call, well, I'm involved with a group that deals with industrial archaeology, which deals with steel bridges and old factories and blast furnaces and all kinds of kind of 19th century, 18th century, or extended 20th century, but this 21st century material is not going to be around. And it's really what I refer to as technological archaeology, because you just can't preserve it in most cases in any other way than through a project like this with photography.
Yeah, I think there's no way out today. We don't know how to preserve it. If we would be able to take a piece back on Earth and put it somewhere in a museum, that would be really nice, but we cannot do that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the important part is that the space station is a great example of technological achievement, but it's also an historical achievement, because it's the first time that nations on Earth that have kind of divergent political goals actually go together and work together. Nevertheless, what happened on the ground and in space, they're all together for this multinational, international space station, multicultural, multinational, but anyhow, international space station. It's the first, I think it's the first example of humanity working together in such a complex project to try to achieve something that is useful for everybody. And I really wish in the future this example could lead us to Mars or to deep exploration of space. And in that sense, it's very important to document this and have something that people can relate to, because we cannot have the actual station, the real piece of hardware.
And that's why I was excited to work with you, because you're Italian, I'm American, so it's an extension of that cooperation.